Welcome back to Rise Plus Rebel. I'm your host, Aya Haja. Today, I want to talk to you about my recent trip to Asia. I went to South Korea as well as China. And so I thought I was going to Asia to source products for Rise Plus Rebel. I thought I was going to find beautiful things, which I did, meet vendors, which I did, walk through markets, bring back inventory. And yes, I did all of that. But what I didn't expect was how much the trip would actually reveal about me. It showed me where I was brave. It showed me where I was overwhelmed. It showed me where I was still being nice and waiting for permission to be my authentic self. Yes, still happens despite the fact that you leave the country. And it reminded me that building a business is not just about building products, creating a website, or making sales. Sometimes building a business is really about discovering yourself, finding out who you truly are, and can you become that person who has and holds that vision. This is Rise Plus Rebel, a podcast for people who refuse to abandon themselves to fit this world. Here, we talk about solitude, authentic truth, power, money, creativity, and the quiet action that changes everything. This season is about reclaiming what was never meant to be outsourced. Your voice, your intuition, your timing, your authority. I'm Aya Hodja, commercial real estate advisor and the founder of Rise Plus Rebel, and your host. If you're navigating the journey of life, especially when it feels lonely, uncomfortable, or misunderstood, well then, you're in the right place. Let's begin. So I thought I was going to Asia to source inventory for Rise Plus Rebel. But what ended up happening instead is I got to learn more about the culture and learn more about different types of environments and what the norm really looks like. The way before going on the trip to South Korea and to China, I had the same interpretation that I did when I was in Thailand and Vietnam about 6, 7 months ago. I thought that I would feel the cultural energy, the cultural beauty of each country, which I did. But it was like day and night. So when I got to South Korea, I was already well prepared to know that I was going to be inspired in South Korea, specifically Seoul. For those that don't know, South Korea specifically as a country is only 77 years young. Doing my own research, I learned that Seoul would be a good place for my soul because it was covered in a lot of architecture, a lot of infrastructure that was very modern and very hip. And for those that don't know, Seoul, just like New York, are trendsetters. So I knew going into Seoul that I was going to get inspired, which was so amazing to experience. And while I was in Seoul, I figured I would love to go and visit another country, another big country by the name of China. And I've always was curious about China. I've seen a couple of videos on the whole country, obviously, and there are so many different cities that I still would love to explore. And in one of the cities that I actually decided to attend was a city named Guangzhou, China. So I was doing research on Guangzhou, China. During the time of my visit to Asia, I learned that they were actually having a big trade fair, a big global trade fair by the name of Canton Fair. And on the dates that I was going to be in China, they were going to have phase 2 and phase 3 live and available for the public to take a look. So it was very much in line with what I was already going to do, the plan of sourcing products. And so I figured I would go and check out Canton Fair as well. It was such a beautiful and interesting experience because it taught me a lot. It taught me how abundant China is and how gracious and welcoming China is to everybody else. Like, this is a country that really opens up their home for other countries to do business in. So I found that to be amazing. Like, I was able to experience true abundance in real form while visiting. So for those that are wondering, why couldn't you just order things online, Aya, if you really wanted to test out things? And there are parts of me that were like, that's the easier option, obviously. I just chose to take a different approach. One, I love traveling, so there's that. But also, I just wanted to see it all for myself. I'm a very skeptical person. I have bought things online, and if you're like me, you may have also fallen for some marketing BS that you would see online, and how this vendor who's selling this product makes it out to be like this amazing thing. And then when you actually get it in a package, it turns out to be the opposite of what they sold you, which sucks. And I don't want to have to test a product or test bringing something into the market with a vendor or a factory or a supplier whom I do not trust, whom I don't even know truly exists. I think with online presence, the more you do anything online, the more you have to be more skeptical, and you have to have your antennas, or whatever you call them, out to really think and sift through all of the legit people who are actually doing business ethically. And then you have business who's unethical business practices. So that was one of the reasons why I felt called to go to Asia instead of just ordering things online. And my hope with Asia was really to just get inspired for Rise Plus Rebel, get inspired as a business owner, as an entrepreneur of what is possible. Because at the end of the day, here's a basic principle. We all are consumers, including the president of your country, including your boss, including everybody, including the CEO. Like, we are all consumers at the end of the day. We all have to provide a service of some sort. So figuring that out and really thinking about how can I provide value to my end user, to my customer, to the person who I am engaging with, it was just really revealing and inspiring at the same time to know how impactful whatever I choose to decide on doing. I just wanted to bring out that quality on the other and I wanted to bring the quality of my own product that I am now supplying and vending and offering to my customers. I want my customer to know that whatever they're feeling and touching is quality work that was truly chosen for the customer on behalf of the customer. And that's how I just want to do anything and everything with my business, and everything that I do is really truly for my customer, for my viewer, for my listener, always. I genuinely just care about the quality rather than the quantity, and just the quality. So really what I was hoping to find for Rise Plus Rebel is just that inspiration of how can I add value to Rise Plus Rebel, because Rise Plus Rebel has brought a lot of value to me, and it has given me a lot of room to play and to really honor the business side of who I truly am. So if you haven't been to Asia at all, I highly encourage you to pick a country and walk the markets. For me, it was such an incredible feeling, and this is something that Asia truly left a mark on me, is being able to walk the night markets, is being able to walk just the markets, the malls. It's been such an incredible experience because at the end of the day, like I mentioned, we are all consumers. And what was super inspiring to see in South Korea as well as China is how many vendors there are in the streets, in commercial buildings, all selling, and they're all selling something unique and beautiful to the customer. That experience is so beautiful and so yummy because essentially, especially if you see a booth that you really love and that has grabbed your attention, you want to support that small business owner. And that inspired me to do a very similar approach here in South Carolina with Rise Plus Rebel, where we can set up pop-up events and actually interact with the local community. And that's, I feel like, is something that South Carolina definitely does well. And I just really love being in front and doing these types of community building events together and bringing everybody together. And so I just want to do more of that because it was all inspired by Asia. And I hope other states and other countries will do the same. The amount of opportunities. So, like walking, there are so many malls in Guangzhou, China. It's insane in a positive way, but like walking through these malls, the first couple of days were very exciting. And then the other couple of days, like if you're 1 week in and all you're doing is just shopping and shopping and shopping and walking markets, you will get overwhelmed and you will get exhausted. And so I had to really like remind myself, which I really had to remind myself to stay focused, to have the eye on the prize, which was, I want to have breathable clothing offerings, stylish clothing to my clients, to my customers. And so walking those markets and just being so overwhelmed with so many different abundant things, I wanted to buy everything and open up stores for everything, but it was a lot. The way I decided what was aligned with Rise Plus Rebel and what was just a distraction is really looking at the material itself, because some material, especially for South Carolina weather, is not as breathable as people claim to be. So, for example, polyester, like if you're wearing a full on sleeve polyester top, your body's going to hate you for it because it's almost like you're putting yourself in a plastic bag and thinking that you'll cool off throughout the day in this almost 100-degree weather. So knowing the material is so important. So your body actually breathes better in cotton as well as linen in a super humid, super hot tropical weather. And you could wear long linen pants, you can wear long linen shirts in 100-degree weather and still be okay because your body is breathing well. I haven't tested out the wool, and I love wool so much. So kind of really, that was my way of deciding on deciphering which material will really breathe. That was one of the things that I was making a decision when I was picking up items and products. During my trip, actually, while I was in Asia, I was getting a lot of feed on my social media where a lot of people were going into shops, were going into like TJ Maxx or places like Belk, and they would just film and show and say, do these big corporations just want us to all look alike? And majority of the color themes were ivory, white, blue, and gray. And so when I saw videos like that, I was just like, this is exactly what I'm talking about. This is part of Rise Plus Rebel, in that we are not going to conform to what these big corporations, these big retail corporations are selling to us and saying, hey, this is the trend. This is what you're going to wear, which is just like this, Amish style looking outfit. No, like I have noticed a lot of women, whether they were in South Carolina, whether they were in other countries and other states, I've noticed how they were really getting to the point of rage and rebelling and saying, we don't want this. We don't want this cookie cutter, copy and paste type of clothing. We're willing to pay more for something that is actually stylish and it has some form of a taste. And so when I was sourcing and looking at products and finding factories whom I could work with because I wanted quality work with the quality of the production, that's what I was keeping in mind. How could I differentiate myself? Because the individual has to stand out when they're wearing Rise Plus Rebel merchandise. And so at this moment, in this phase of my life, while I'm trying to figure out the retail business aspect of Rise Plus Rebel, I'm specifically focusing on women, but I'm really hoping in the near future that I will expand the clothing to men as well, because I think men, just like women, have a very difficult time styling, have a very difficult time of expressing themselves through clothing. And I want to be able to fill that gap for you guys. So for the men who are listening, if you're just that 1%, thank you for being here, one. And two, hang tight. I will have products available for you to wear and really fully embody what Rise Plus Rebel stands for. So something people are not saying behind the scenes of building Rise Plus Rebel is just the amount of work it requires to have a podcast. That's one. And the amount of research it requires to actually put a retail product together. Again, I could have easily just found some random vendor online and linked their products into mine. And that's what a lot of podcasters do. But I have a tendency to just kind of do all the difficult things first before I do the easy stuff. Don't judge. But it's also part of the adventure. That's the reason why I do what I do, because it's part of the adventure. And that's what makes life fun, is when you can do the hard things. So that's one of the behind things that I'm doing right now, is really reaching out to vendors, meeting a lot of people, and talking about how can we make a positive footprint and positive impact through Rise Plus Rebel, through commercial real estate, and really just through my creative ways. So yeah, the most tedious part of this whole process has really been like the planning of it all, because there is just so much work to do. And again, the work that I am doing Like nobody's forcing me to do it. That's literally part of what I want to do. I have a bad tendency of spreading myself too thin, but at the end of the day, there aren't a lot of people I know who are doing what I'm doing. And it's not to say anything about that, but I guess what I'm trying to say that despite the fact that this process of having to have a podcast, of having to upload all of these shorts and media, and continuously writing and continuously showing up and doing the research of owning a merchandise label company, on having a retail company, all through because I want to grow Rice Plus Rebel. It's just been such an incredible journey because essentially that's what has been in my dream, in my heart for as long as I could remember. And I'm able to actually create this beautiful creation through the podcast, through the name, through the clothing. And all I have to do is just show up. And that's, I don't mind. And I feel like I wish more people spoke about that in entrepreneurship because essentially that's what you do. When you're running a business, the biggest success rate is how often you show up. So now if you're showing up every single day and you're executing the goals every single day, you're going to move things forward eventually. Eventually things are going to stick. And so though it's frustrating because there are times where I'm not seeing the results that I want, I'm still showing up. And it can get super overwhelming. But you just got to keep showing up. And for me, my business started to feel super real when I started to actually, one, buy the merchandise. When I got back home and started to enter the merchandise into my online store, which is available when you watch this. So come check it out. Please support the store. It will be linked somewhere in the comments. So, and if you can't find it, please reach out to me. I'd be happy to send it to you. I would love your support. Even if you don't buy anything, just check it out. And even if you catch a typo, please let me know. Like, I need all of the help I can get. All hands on deck. Help me. Help me however you can, because by you helping me, and hopefully I'm helping you and inspiring you to just follow your bliss. And if that means you're following your bliss because you're watching me follow mine, yay, I'm super happy about that. And so that means we're both helping one another. So yeah, I think for me, the biggest win this week, especially aside from everything else that I've just shared with you about feeling that this business is legitimate and it's becoming real and more real every single day, is I finally booked a pop-up event that's coming up in June out here locally in Charleston. So I'm super excited about that. And depending on when you are listening to this, hopefully you'll be able to support me. Keep an eye out on that on the newsletter as well as on my social media accounts. And I'm excited to see what adventure is waiting for me on the other end. There are times when I was in Asia that revealed to me all of the fears that I was facing. And the fears of what if I don't have a pop-up event secured? Or what if nobody actually likes my product? What if? And what if? It's easy, super easy to lose yourself when you're in a foreign country like Asia, which I literally like every day my mental health would go up and down, which again, I don't think a lot of people talk about that in entrepreneurship, is you have to be so strong to hold your vision and stay focused because it's easy to lose yourself in a foreign country. For me, like I mentioned, it was really the fear of not securing an event. It was the fear of technology failing. It was the fear of not getting out in front of people in any way. But also what held me close and held me tight was my self-talk as well as the support of my mom, who really were just reminding me that just take it one day at a time. Focus on just the next 24 hours. You don't need to focus on the rest. And I didn't realize what a big undertaking it was to have a store and to create a label. But here we are a couple of weeks later, and I don't regret a thing. I'm still totally working through my mental health every single day, about really just showing up for myself. And again, like eyes on the prize, which is do this thing, follow your bliss. So one of the things that I genuinely learned through this trip, especially when I came back, is I'm no longer waiting to become a founder. I'm becoming one by doing and taking action every single day, pushing through the discomfort every single day. And that is how you become the founder. That is how you become an owner of a retail company or an owner of a private label. So that's the magic of creating opportunities for yourself. So maybe the question isn't really about, are you ready? At least it wasn't for me. For me, the question really was, what part of me is being developed through this process? And for you, the message that I really want for you to take away is that voice that's in you. Whether that's the entrepreneur in you, the creative in you, it's there for you, specifically for you, gawking at you. Maybe not. Maybe it's just poking you, but it's there. What I want for you to do is truly follow that bliss. If it scares you, good. That's literally what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to scare you. It scares me every single day. And every single day I have this thought in my head of like, how dare you? Who do you think you are? And I have to show up every single day to show, how dare I do what I'm doing? And who do I think I am? Well, this is who I think I am. So I'm going to show up as this person. And I know it sounds easier said than done, but it really is that easy. All you have to do is just show up, make the decision that this is the person you're going to be every single day, and just push through little by little every single day. And the thing is, there's never going to be a time where someone's going to bring this opportunity for you and you have to ask for permission. Don't ask for permission to be yourself. Don't ask for permission to follow your dreams. Don't share your ideas with anybody until you fully allowed yourself the permission to play. You fully allowed yourself the permission to pursue that what's deep within you. So I hope that you will honor this season without abandoning yourself, really sitting with that calling and following your bliss. Because again, it's there for you for a reason. So follow it, rise into your power, and rebel against your limiting beliefs. This is Aya Hodra. Thank you so much for listening. I'll see you on the next one. If something in this episode landed, stayed with you, or stirred something honest inside, please let me know. You can find me at www.risewithaya.com. That's where everything lives, the podcast, my writings, and ways to connect. So I'd love for you to follow me on social media and tell me what you want more of. That can be topics, questions, or conversations you're craving. Rise plus Rebel isn't just a podcast. It's a community built around truth, presence, and becoming your authentic self. So until then, don't rush your journey. Honor every moment of it.